I called today's meditation class Feel Better. I've been giving them a theme every week. And I gave it the theme of Feel Better because I made a movie yesterday. And after doing that, whether it's a one-day shoot or, a 3-month shoot, you can feel a little beat up. And so I chose this theme earlier in the week when I anticipated, waking up today and how I was going to feel and what I might need today. But also, not just, selfishly, not just that I wanted to feel better, but that, in general, sometimes that's just the place to start. Sometimes if we can just feel a little better, it becomes a lot easier to take the next step. And it's really simple. It doesn't mean getting rid of all the problems. It doesn't mean suddenly transforming into a perfect human. It just means allowing a little space around whatever it is, relaxing around whatever it is, remembering it's just right now with whatever it is. And that can really go a long way, because I don't know about you guys, but for me, if I'm, if there's something challenging going on and I'm really in it, and I'm not stepping out and relaxing around it and seeing it for what it is, which is just an arising, passing phenomena like everything else, it can make things kind of tight. And if I can just take that breath, soften those shoulders, release that jaw. It doesn't really matter what it is. It can be like someone I love dying. It can be not getting my way in a conversation with my partner. It can be anything on the spectrum, right? But if I can soften in that way and just become available for what is in the moment, I feel better. It doesn't mean the person doesn't die. It doesn't mean that I won't grieve it. It doesn't mean that I'll suddenly get my way with my partner. But I will feel better. And in feeling better, I can then take the next indicated action or not take an action, depending. Sometimes it's just about being with it. I think sometimes we can go to this point with acceptance where the idea of feeling better is somehow negative or a dirty word or something. It's like, well, if I was really in acceptance, I would need to feel better. And for me, this past year has been a really humbling experience when it comes to that, because a lot of I'd kind of gone through some health stuff, and I was very against getting Western medicine involved, even though I pretty much knew it would probably make me feel better. I was like, I'm going to do it my way. And I did it my way for a bunch of years. And this past year, it just got to this point where I couldn't do it my own way anymore. And so I got some help, and I started to feel better. And just feeling a little better, life opened up in all these beautiful ways, right? And so sometimes we need support of community or friends or doctors to feel a little better, so that we can then show up for whatever's next. When we're on the sort of spiritual path and we're going through these various stages of insight or awakening, there can be periods that are very challenging. Periods where we feel really alone, periods where we feel really confused, periods where everything becomes really meaningless. Can't find anything that we care about. And while those are sometimes necessary stages along the way, it can be really helpful to feel better in those stages as well. It's it's gonna pass when it passes. We're gonna choose to make meaning in life when we choose to make meaning in life. We're gonna find that we're not as alone as we think we are, that actually we're connected to everything when we find that. We can't push it, we can't rush it, right? It's gonna happen when it happens. But sometimes it's nice to just feel better, while you're in that process. And again, it comes back to the same idea of just, okay, here's what's going on. Can I see it? Can I soften? Can I breathe? Can I let the breath drop down into the belly? Can I let the jaw release? just take it easy. And then suddenly even those sort of spiritual, existential, dark night of the soul sort of journeys become a little less gnarly. There's a little more space, a little more softness. So wherever you are in that spectrum of maybe you're just beginning meditating and you just want to feel a little less stressed out, or you want to get to sleep a little easier, or whether you've been doing this a long time and you're in this period of a new layer of awakening where you're seeing reality in this very different way and it's making you maybe feel a bit confused or cut off, or any other part of that spectrum. There are very simple things we can do to just feel better. Even if it's just for a moment, it's like coming up for air, and we can dive back in, right? So just getting that full, easy breath. So the one main thing that I already mentioned is just this idea of just being with what is, right? Which is so basic, and it's so easy to forget, especially when we're in that space of like, but I want it to be different. Why can't it be different? So easy to forget that it's just that simple. It's just going, oh, this. Okay. Just releasing the hands. Just letting the shoulders drop. It's going to be as simple as that. Another way that we can often quickly feel much better is if we just connect with the world. We just connect with, the physical experience of a body, the sights around us, the sounds around us. We just sort of anchor in this moment. It's very simple. It's so simple that it's easy to miss. But it's like you're walking along, you're in your mind, you're thinking about that thing that didn't work out, that job you didn't get, that girl that didn't want to kiss you. And you just look at a tree, or even a light post, or even a little square of concrete, and you just maybe feel your foot taking the next step onto the ground. And you put your attention on that, you hear a car driving by. This doesn't have to be nature and beauty and birds and wind chimes, right? It can be right there in the city. It can be downtown LA. And you just connect with the solid view of the world, right? Like we know it's moving, it's changing, there's not really anything that's solid, there's no solid ground. But in that moment, right, we can say, yeah, but that building looks pretty solid, I'm just going to connect with that. And you can just, bam, you're connecting with that piece of the world instead of the story in the mind, instead of whatever the head is spinning out for you, right? So those are two really simple ways to feel better in the moment. And so we're going to play around with both of them today in our meditation. And an important thing to say with this is feeling better doesn't mean that we always feel great. Like, don't mistake me. In saying feel better, I don't mean if you do this enough, you'll never feel sad again. Or if you do this enough, you'll never be angry again, or you'll never be embarrassed again. You never want something you can't have again. We're human, right? So we can gain a really different relationship with the mind and start to relate to ourselves and our mind in a really different way so that we're not suffering anymore. But that doesn't mean that we won't still have the experience of being human. So feeling better doesn't mean being perfect. And feeling better also doesn't mean negating or ignoring or pushing down what doesn't feel good. The feeling better is on the same, the same plane as the feeling like total crap. They're here, and we're just choosing, let's focus on feeling better for this moment. Let's get this breath. Doesn't mean we're, go away, We know it's there. We know that heartbreaking experience that we wish never happened is there, We're not trying to get rid of it. We're just making a choice to give ourselves a little breathing space. Give ourselves the opportunity to maybe anchor with the world or to maybe just relax a little bit. So again, feeling better doesn't mean feeling perfect, and it doesn't mean pushing anything down. All of this exists together. The feeling better and the feeling not good. The being really compassionate and loving and awake, Emma being like super judgmental and angry and like totally unconscious. Like there's not these two containers and one's in this one and one's in this one. That's just not how it works, right? Like it's all there. And we can choose where do we want to direct our attention. And that will decide what our life looks like, where we direct our attention. All right. So we'll just begin to settle into our posture. Remembering that it is always okay to adjust if you need to. We try our best to work towards stillness, but that doesn't mean that you're stuck. If you need to move your leg, if you need to scratch an itch, do what you need to do. If you need to move to a chair, but just give yourself space and time to do that rather than just kind of compulsively reacting to discomfort. Instead, take a moment to notice the discomfort and notice the desire to adjust. And then if you need to do it, do it. And if you don't, stay still. So ideally we have a nice long spine, sitting up tall, but in a relaxed way. So this isn't a straining, just a gentle stacking of the spine. And then over that relaxed spine, we start to relax the body. So starting with the forehead, invite the forehead to soften, smooth out, and relax. Invite the eyebrows and the space between the eyebrows to relax. And I want you to pay special attention today to each time you feel a little better after relaxing. There's like a little sense of relief when we let a muscle go that we've been tightening up intentionally. So just notice those little moments. We're not clinging to them. We're just noticing when they happen. So in releasing the muscles around the eyes and allowing all of those little muscles to relax, notice how maybe it feels a little better. And perhaps through relaxing the little muscles around the eyes, the cheeks start to relax. And that relaxation starts to move into the jaw. So the jaw begins to relax and maybe the mouth drops open a little bit. And we can really wear our tension like a kind of armor, and it's there for all kinds of reasons. And so we're really gentle and patient with ourselves as we start to take that armor off. Our body might not be ready for us to just rip all the armor off. We need to be really kind as we learn to relax. So as the jaw relaxes, sometimes there can be a feeling of vulnerability that feels uncomfortable, or maybe just sort of a sense of melancholy or sadness. Maybe a sense of feeling like we need to defend ourselves. Letting our jaw be that loose, we're not defended, or maybe we look weird. Right? Like I don't know how I look with my jaw released like that. So see if you can respect and honor all of those thoughts and emotions that come up, and at the same time really gently continue to encourage and nurture relaxation. Relaxing down into the neck. Also respecting the parts of the body that don't want to relax today, and instead of trying to force relaxation, we just soften around the tension, allowing it to be there, offering acceptance. Letting the shoulders release as the shoulders relax. And relaxing down both of your arms. And into your hands, the hands releasing and relaxing. Nothing you have to do with your arms and your hands right now. You can really just let go. Relaxing the chest. Gently inviting that relaxation into your stomach. So this can be an area we're a little hesitant to relax. It's a very soft, vulnerable part of the body. Even if we have really nice abs, there's still kind of a vulnerability in the stomach area. So there can be this tendency to really want to tighten it up. So see if you can instead just gently, patiently start to encourage it to release. And perhaps in relaxing and releasing the outer layers of the stomach, we start to relax deeper into the stomach. Let go of that clenching. And relaxing the sides of the torso. And we'll begin to invite the back to relax. We're going to continue to keep our spine nice and long and just relax everywhere where we don't need our muscles for sitting up. So relaxing in the upper back, around the shoulders, the shoulder blades. And relaxing the mid-back. And relaxing the lower back. Now, once again, in a gentle and patient way, we start to invite some relaxation into the hips, the butt, and the pelvic area. Releasing the pelvic floor, releasing any clenching in the butt cheeks, releasing any tension that we can from the hips. Maybe we feel the seat settle in a little bit more as we release. And just notice as you relax in these areas, does something else tighten up? Does the stomach tighten back up? Does the jaw tighten up? And can you just really gently invite those areas to relax along with the lower part of the body? And then we begin to invite that relaxation down the legs. And into the feet. especially if we're newer to meditation, there can be a self that likes to tell us we're doing it wrong. So if that's something that happens for you, just take a moment to acknowledge that part of you, that part that likes to tell you you're not doing it right, whether it's in meditation or otherwise, and just let that part of you know that you love it, that you're not trying to get rid of it, that it's allowed to be here, that you accept it, and that during this meditation, your focus won't be on it. It can do whatever it needs to, it can tell you you're doing it wrong, but you're not going to choose to focus on that part of you for this meditation. And if you find you have focused, you're going to disengage and come back to whatever we're working with. So just letting that part of self know, hey, it's cool that you're here. I'm going to be paying attention to something else for a bit here. So these parts of self that we think we should get rid of, we should shut up, we should meditate away, these are the parts of self that need our love and our friendliness more than anything. These are the parts of self that just need to be seen and acknowledged and held. Okay. So let's start moving into working with getting present with sound and sensation. If you'd like to work with your eyes open, you're welcome to also work with sight for this period, but have your sight not be another person, because people might like to have a little privacy and not want to be watched. So if you choose to meditate with your eyes open, gaze down or defocus your eyes, or find some way to do your open eye practice without intruding. Okay. So just beginning to bring awareness to the body. And we're going to get curious about the sensations, and let's stick with sensations that aren't super challenging. Let's stick with some really kind of basic sensations. The breath, the feeling of your butt on the cushion or your feet on the floor, the feeling of your clothes on your skin or any air on your skin, the wetness of your mouth. Let's focus on sensations like that. Sensations that are easy to locate and somewhat constant. And I want you to really feel those sensations. So using your physical awareness to feel the sensation of your butt on the cushion, or the sensation of your breath moving in and out of your body, or your hands on your thighs. Anytime you start to go into a story about it, or anything else, just return to the sensations, these simple body sensations. This is what my breath feels like right now. this is what my butt on the cushion feels like right now. That's all we're doing, just getting present with these basic, obvious, neutral sensations. Utilizing those sensations to anchor us in the present moment, right now. So since these sensations we're working with are fairly constant, stay with one for a while, and then if you'd like, you can move to another. But again, keeping these really simple. It's the butt on the cushion, it's the breath, it's the feet on the floor, it's the hands on the thighs. Really simple, easy to contact sensations. But pouring attention into them. Becoming totally absorbed in this simple, everyday sensation. So much so that just the feeling of your butt on the cushion becomes wildly interesting. Noticing the tingle here, the pressure here. The expansion or contraction here. These different sensations you can find just sitting there on the cushion. Right there in the thighs and the butt. Doesn't seem that exciting, but there's so much to explore. Same thing with the breath. Same thing with the hands. If this is feeling really good and really interesting and you want to stick with it, you can. Or you could start to extend your attention out to sound. And we'll do the same exact thing with sound. We're just pouring our attention into the experience of sound. So, sound of my voice, sound of someone next to you breathing, sound of traffic, sound of the clock. Any other sound that's available to you. Just pouring your attention into it, really hearing it. And when you find that you're in the story about it, you're looking at images in your mind about it, rather than really hearing it, really taking it in, come back to really hearing it and really taking it in. It's like someone said earlier about really seeing the tree. So really hear the sounds. Anchoring in them. you tune in the station so that the sound is crisp and clear? Can you tune in attention so that it just pours into that experience of sound, making sound the most interesting thing? Remembering at no time do you need to quiet your mind. If you're fighting with your thoughts, stop. Instead, just gently pick up attention and place it either on the body, if you're still working with the body, or on sound. You don't need to quiet the mind. It can keep doing its thing. You're just choosing to place your attention elsewhere. So if you're really enjoying this aspect of the practice and you want to keep working with it, you're welcome to. Otherwise, we're going to move into part 2. We're going to move into what we began with, this idea of allowing space, allowing relaxation to come into the experience of whatever's coming up. So rather than pointing your attention anywhere in particular, just allow awareness to free float. And whatever you land on, see if you can just relax around your experience of it. So if it's a thought, if it's an emotional sensation, if it's a feeling of pain in the body, if it's a sound, whatever it is, whatever you are drawn to, see if you can just let go and allow it. This may be especially challenging with pain or with negative thoughts, but you'll see a lot of benefit in doing it there. It'll be really obvious how much better you feel when you stop fighting. How much better you feel when you just give into, this is what's happening right now. That doesn't take away our power, that doesn't leave us unable to take action or take care of ourselves. It actually makes it much easier to take action, to take care of ourselves when we're in acceptance. When we're fully in acceptance about what is. So whatever you land on, soften, relax, and allow. Soften, relax, and allow. Whether it's pleasant or unpleasant. Whether it's very clear and crisp or kind of foggy and wispy. give in to this. And this. And this. When you find that you've come to something you just simply couldn't relax around, you just simply can't accept, that's the thing that you really want to relax around. That's the place where you really want to allow space. That's where you really want to accept. So the more the resistance, the more the payoff in really accepting and relaxing and releasing, the better you'll feel. It's okay to let go. You're safe. As you're ready, start to gently open your eyes if they're closed. Just letting in the candlelight. And knowing that you don't have to grab back onto anything. You can continue to let go, continue to relax and allow, even as you open your eyes. Even as I turn on the light and we talk a little bit. And even as you go out into the world.